Hello friends, Brad Locke here with the return of the DJ Preps High School Football Preview Show. We did this for a few years and then it got to be too much of a pain, and so we haven't done it in a while, but I'm trying to bring it back. This is not an ideal setup. Normally I would have somebody else in here with me, but we're working on the logistics of that. So bear with me please, at least for this week. Week 1 of the high school football season. And this show, for lack of a better term, brought to you by Pizza Doctor, Midtown Point in Tupelo. Check them out, good stuff. So here's the deal with this show, if you don't remember. I take three of the top games this week and preview each one of them, and then I make a prediction. So pretty simple, right? Okay. Before we move forward, I need to remind you about the podcast I do also every week, Prep Rally. Find that in iTunes or Spotify, any of those podcast apps. Okay. And again, I hope the production value is better next week. We're working on it. So we got 3 games to watch this week. Game number 1, Biggersville at Hamilton. Biggersville, of course, the defending 1A state champ. Hamilton plays in 2A, but they figure to be pretty good this year. Could be a really close game. Keys to the game, key number 1, the Werner Vortex. That's right, the brothers for Hamilton, Justin and Kaiser, playing in the backfield at the same time for the first time. Of course, Kaiser did not play last season, and that was when Justin took over at quarterback. So now you got Justin at quarterback, Kaiser at running back. He ran for 2,000 plus yards a couple of years back. Justin ran for over 1,000 last year. So if those two guys can get going, that gives them a great chance to beat Biggersville. Key number 2, on the case. How much will Biggersville have to lean on its new starting quarterback, Case Hilliard? Now, we know that Biggersville lost quite a few great players off last year's team, including quarterback Drew Rousey. Now, they didn't throw the ball a ton last year, except for that championship game where they kind of had to. I don't think they're going to throw it a bunch this year, so Case Hilliard basically I think is just going to have to manage the offense. He does have some good weapons around him, and if he can do that, that'll be a big advantage for the Lions. And key number 3, and this is, as you may remember, always the most important key in my preview. Field of play. Yeah, I gave all these little things, all these keys, little names, whatever. Will Brooks Seago get confused about which sport he's playing? The wide receiver and safety for Biggersville also plays basketball and baseball and golf and who knows what else. So he's at least a 4-sport guy. You know, if he shows up in a polo shirt with a bag of golf clubs, Biggersville might be in trouble. Okay, my prediction for this game, I think it'll be closer than last year's meeting, but I do see Biggersville winning. 34-26 is my prediction. So there's game number 1. Game number 2, the Crosstown Classic, Lafayette at Oxford. Big time rivalry, has been for decades. I hate saying that word, rivalry. But the keys to the game for Lafayette and Oxford, key number 1, beefy boys. Oxford really strong on the offensive line. They've got Gray McGowan, they've got Ford Wade, and several other guys. But those are 2 of the best linemen in the area, and they're on the same offensive line. So that's key number 1, and a big one, because if Oxford can dominate the line of scrimmage, it could be a long night for Lafayette. Key number 2, Nick's picks. Nick Thompson, the quarterback for Lafayette, threw 2 interceptions in this game last year, and he had 14 interceptions on the season. That's been a point of emphasis this offseason, is for him to get that number down. I mean, he put up some good numbers, over 2,000 yards passing, but the interceptions did come up to bite him a few times. So he's going to have to watch out, and especially against that Oxford secondary with guys like Jelian Judson and Kamar Houston and Colin Flanagan. I mean, they feast on turnovers. So that's key number 2. Key number 3, white line fever. How will, this is a road game for Lafayette. Road games can kind of wear you out, just the travel. So how will the 1.9-mile road trip affect the Commodores? You never know. Stay hydrated. Prediction, I'm taking the Chargers, 27-21. Okay. Third and final game to watch, Pontotoc at Amory. Amory is christening its new stadium. Of course, the old one was destroyed in that tornado spring of 2023. The new stadium looks really nice, and the Panthers hoping to open that stadium with a victory over Pontotoc. Key number one, flex on them. Amory's got to defend the flex bone. Pontotoc installed that old school offense this past offseason. And if it's run right, it's really hard to stop. And Pontotoc has not been very good offensively the last couple of seasons, so they're trying to play to their strengths. They do have a lot of guys that can run the ball, including the quarterback, Cortland Pass, ironically named. So Amory's defense will have to stay on point and on assignment in order to slow down the flex bone. Key number two, get a handle on Randall. As in, Pontotoc needs to make sure that Amory running back Emmanuel Randall doesn't run wild. He's coming off a really good season. He's a veteran running back, started for Tupelo Christian as a freshman, then transferred to Amory, backed up Charleston French for a season, and was productive in that role, and then became a starter last year and had a huge season, 1,500 plus yards. So Emmanuel Randall can eat up some yards and some clock if Pontotoc's defense lets him. Key number three, too hype. Maybe all the excitement surrounding the new stadium and everything, got the artificial turf. It's a very sparkling new facility. Maybe it's too nice. And actually, this could be considered a bit of a concern. I mean, it might be easy for teenagers to get distracted with all the hype surrounding this game. I talked with Coach Brooks Dampier earlier this week. He doesn't think it'll be a problem. He says they've been good about kind of staying in the moment and just taking care of business, and that's what they're going to have to do. Can't let any of the you can't get overly excited. Sometimes you come out with a little too much energy. It can be detrimental. So those are your three keys to that game. And my prediction, I'm taking Amory 24, Pontotoc 14. So we'll see how those predictions play out. And that's it for week one of the DJ Preps football preview show. Again, we'll try to have a better setup next week and maybe have either Brendan or James in here with me to go over these games. But we'll have full coverage in the Daily Journal on Saturday of football games that are being played Friday. There are some games tonight. I'll be out at Hatley hosting Morville. So look for coverage in the Journal and at djournal.com. Okay, that's it. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you next week.